Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Combo of the Week for May 17th through May the 23rd, 2021. These are the very best comments from that time period. Starting out with the honorable mentions, we have Art Bell, Spartan 1982, and TV Games. The bronze medal comes to us from Martyville. Funny, even after hearing so many times about Raid Shadow Legends, I still don't know what it is because my mind keeps shutting down when it's mentioned. So the animation studios have gone mad with animation over the years. The animators are overworked too. You can hardly find anything with passion since animation is no longer a niche medium anymore. That is the disadvantage of something getting mainstream and mass demand more anime. That is why stuff like Dragon Ball Super looks so awful. But even that show didn't take forever to put some decent animation once in a while where it mattered, nor did it reach episode 200. I honestly don't expect animation to look amazing in every episode, but there are hardly any episodes that look good in Boruto, especially the fights, which the filler ones are all bad, look lifeless. The only fight that the majority agrees is good is an adaptation from a movie fight, and that is around episode 60, and by the fan base largely that movie and association and arc were awful. The only other things that have good animation are the intros. I don't know about you, but I may watch an intro once and then skip it. I don't judge a show by the quality of its intro, and it doesn't affect the story. It only exists to get you excited at what's to come. Well, I could go in a lot of different directions here, but let's talk about anime intros, right? It's no guarantee that the actual anime is going to be good by the intro, but sometimes you can kind of tell if you're going to be interested in the show or not by the intro. Like me, some of my favorite animes are, shonen, like the fighting animes. So if somebody says, hey, Rick, you got to check out this anime, I'm like, okay, send me the intro. I check out the intro and I'm like, you know what? Those characters look kind of interesting, Some intros actually have fights, too, that don't happen, in the series. Like, if someone showed me an intro from Bleach, I would be like, I'm interested in that. Bleach has a lot of great intros. Inuyasha, I won't say is one of my favorite animes, but I look at those intros and I'm like, okay, that's some interesting characters in those intros. Sometimes the outros actually outdo the intros, though. Inuyasha is one of those. Some of those outros are just beautiful. Some of that music is just beautiful, But sometimes you get a show, like you said, where you're like, okay, the animation is only really good in the intro. When it comes to Boruto, and when it comes to mass producing something, look at it like this way. Let's say you have a great artist. And they're known around town for having some of the most beautiful paintings, some of the most beautiful portraits. You've seen a painting of a couple people and they look just stunning, right? But a lot of people, word of mouth gets around. A lot of people want, themselves painted by this person. Well, they get overworked. And then there's errors in some of the paintings. They're not quite up to that standard because this person is only human. These animators, well, they're only human, so I guess you could make a defense that, well, they're overworked and there's a big workload on them, so maybe that's why they cut corners sometimes. Well, I would say the answer to that is hire more animators or, lighten the workload. There's no excuse for me for something like Dragon Ball Super, which is one of the biggest animes currently out here. There's no excuse for something like that to have shit animation at times. I mean, I don't want to hear it when it comes to that because, there's plenty of money to be made on Dragon Ball, so they could just hire more animators, to assist in the workload. Thank you, Martyville. The silver medal comes to us from Destroyer of Heroes. Ah, yes. The classic white 90V beggary ad revenue defense. So easy to dismiss. YouTube is a huge company that has a system set up to measure how to pay its partners. If you beg or cry, YouTube will not pay you more than what you have earned. If you are out of work or just down on your luck this month, YouTube will not send you a sympathy check. Your payout is based on statistics, numbers. E-beggars only have a system to accept any amount of money for any reason. When you get ad revenue, it does not come from personal banking accounts, and it is not a system that preys upon emotions. Once you decide to accept donations, you open the door to a world of possibilities. We have seen mentally ill people, lonely people, and physically ill people taken advantage of based solely on a sales pitch in a hobby video that preys upon emotions. E-begging has no standards, no rules, and no fact-based system upon which to gauge the whole customer service aspect of the transaction. Points can be made about ad revenue as to the pros and cons of it and as to why people are against ads, but comparing being a partner with a large company to crying in a video for free money is beyond asinine. YouTube has money set aside specifically for paying its partners, for them allowing their videos to contain advertising for companies that pay for that advertising. YouTube isn't living check to check or using their parents' credit card to buy art, buy an online friend. YouTube doesn't want to help Metal Jesus or John Hancock pay for that one game they need to have a complete North American collection for a specific console for. YouTube does not have an algorithm in place to award monies to a YouTuber who needs home repairs or who has been in a wreck. It's essentially a comparison of apples to oranges. It's like comparing your paycheck from work to a paycheck from grandma on your birthday to cheer you up. She just wanted to buy you something nice. I reject that guy's hypothesis. YouTube and YouTube ad revenue is set up in a way, I mean, there's no agreements or disagreements. It's just on numbers. It's to what numbers you can bring in, for advertisements. That's the system set up. It's a pretty simple system. But things get a little tricky when you go into e-begging. And so many people will come by these white knights defending a lot of these people that, take a lot of these large donations, for instance. And they will say, well, Rick, you're a hypocrite because you have ad revenue. That's in a way kind of like saying, well, it's not a one-to-one ratio because, YouTube is not, I will never specify it as actually like having an actual day job or a night job or an actual, job. But look at it like this. Let's say you have somebody, begging for money. And they're like, okay, we will beg for money in front of a store that like they should probably be working at, right? They won't go into the store and ask for a job application, no, but they'll get in front of the store and beg, and then they'll tell people they have sympathetic stories. They might have put on like a fake peg leg and they tell a story how they lost a leg somewhere, and people feel sympathy for that person, so they give them money for sympathy. One of the most disgusting things I see on this platform, Destroyer of Heroes, is a lot of people just taking advantage of the sympathy and people getting donations for sympathy. So that's the difference. If you want to know the big difference between YouTube creators and ad revenue and YouTube creators and Patreon and people getting donations is, like you said about grandma wants you to make you feel good on your birthday, there's a lot of people that just want to make you feel good. So they'll give you money because they want to make you feel good, especially if you're feeling bad or sad, or if you're like Camelot 331 or years ago with Maximilian Dude talking during the holidays. 2 times. It's usually during the holidays, right before Christmas and tax time. You'll see a flood of these sympathy uploads or these community posts where people talk about, oh, I got car issues. I got in a car wreck. Oh, I need some house repairs. This is going to be so expensive. And then there's people like me that are needed on this platform to call those motherfuckers out. No, it is not equal to ad revenue. Thank you to Story of Heroes. And now we get with the shiny, 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 shiny gold medal coming to us from Juliet India Mobile. I tend to envision the day when people wake up and see that these losers have been taking advantage of them. I'm sure Patreon started out as a humble company looking to assist in funding projects that were niche and very likely never to be funded traditionally. Now it's nothing more than a tool for beggary. Now YouTube is getting in on the beggary with join buttons as well. It's funny, when I join Peacock or Paramount Plus, I can pay a little more to get TV ad-free. It's amazing how YouTube has tricked the ill-informed into believing they can get value from spending extra money to become a member of a channel, and Patreon has its perks. Let us boil this down. If you give a channel money to join, you are still subject to YouTube advertisements. You're also subject to any advertisement the creator decides to accept. if you're Slope's Bedroom, you add a 6-month paywall to your videos. So you get to watch something early which will eventually release for free, minus my first argument. Other creators give you what? Special emojis? Because that's value for money. Almost all these creators have some sort of Skype or Discord thing going on. Let's be honest with ourselves. If Disney or Netflix offered a service to have once a month chat with some no-name producer or some corporate suit, would you pay extra for it? Doubt it. You get to ask questions to your favorite e-beggar, which they may or may not answer. Oh joy, because I can't do that for free. You might get to play a game with your favorite e-beggar if you pay enough. Yes, because it's not like gaming as a hobby has a large amount of people with a lot of similarities and interest to yourself. It's not like you can join an online gamer, play with other people, am I right? Heck, if only some games like that were free and didn't cost you a dime, right? So yeah, what's really their perk? No, you get to fund the creator's irresponsible lifestyle, all while being a responsible adult and not relying on others to compensate for your laziness. Funny. If this were two significant others, then you'd be calling it an absolute relationship and cursing it. Luckily, this is YouTube, so you can embrace it. It's hilarious towards the middle of your comment. You said almost all these creators have some sort of Skype or Discord thing going on, but if Disney or Netflix offered a service to talk to a no-name producer or some corporate suit, then would you pay extra for it? I doubt it. Just imagine that. Hey, I want to talk to somebody that's behind the creation of The Mandalorian. Who? Just some random person? And people might say like, well, these are YouTube celebrities. People want to talk to YouTube celebrities. What a low bar people might have to talk to celebrities. As I say that, Juliet India Mobile, as I say that, I know there's people out there that stupidly would want to donate if they could have a Skype call with me. If I had tiers set up and, I was like, hey, if you want to talk to me on a Skype chat or whatever, or Discord or whatever, there's people that would gladly sign up. And that's why things are really kind of fucked up. Like me, of all people, that speaks against e-begging. There's people right now that would gladly sign up just to talk to me or to play a game with me. There's people creaming their pants at the idea of playing a game with me. So it's tough luck to all of you, because all I play is Shadow of Mordor, huh? It's a single player game. Unless they, come out with a co-op Shadow of Mordor. Actually, I would kind of cream my pants to that, right? Yeah, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't get it that there's so many people that will give money to individuals, maybe like a ReviewTechUSA, when he's just some middle-aged bald fat guy. Like, he's some middle-aged bald fat guy. If he was a corporate executive or somebody that worked at Netflix or whatever, would you want to give him money just to hear his thoughts on things? Would you give him money to play games with him? It's about time. Oh, it's time to actually see a lot of these people for who they really are. There's nothing special. There's nothing particularly special about a ReviewTechUSA. There's nothing special about this person whatsoever. So we value these YouTube celebrities. We give money to these YouTube celebrities. And I don't think a lot of people actually really stop and think about how worthless of an idea that is. Just in general, even giving money to real celebrities for no reason. You want to give money for something of value. And like you said, I envision a day when people wake up and see how stupid it is, but we're not going in that path of trajectory. We are not. We're going as far away from that as we possibly can. And when YouTube doesn't help anything by letting the join out, then that's more like that's more of incentive for a lot of people to e-beg. They say, hey, YouTube, look at there. YouTube's even signing off on it. So asking your favorite question to an e-beggar for these live chats and things, I just don't get the joy in that. I would say to a lot of people that donate to people like ReviewTechUSA or get on the live streams, stop before you do it. Look at the virtual money you're about to give up and say to yourself, how can I use this money in a way to actually enhance my own life. It's about time we stop giving money to e-beggars and just keep and hold on to the money and use it for ourselves. How about that is a message I'll close off on.